Our passage today from Isaiah in our daily devotions is a passage that I've had a sermon written about for I don't know how many decades. It was something I got into studying one day decades ago and just got excited about it. And every time I read it, I say, I'm going to preach a sermon about this. And I never have. But let me read it to you and just share a couple of quick thoughts. Isaiah chapter 35, beginning with verse 8. And a great road will go through the once deserted land. It will be named the highway of holiness. Evil-minded people will never travel on it. It will only be for those who walk in God's ways. Fools will never walk there. Lions will not lurk along its course, nor will any other ferocious beast. There will be no other dangers. Only the redeemed of the Lord will walk upon it. And those who have been ransomed by the Lord will return. They will enter Jerusalem singing, crowned with everlasting joy. Sorrow and mourning will disappear. They will be filled with joy and gladness. I want you to notice that there is a highway called the highway of holiness. And this broad, and it's not a little narrow path. See, everybody gets this idea that holiness is this narrow lifestyle. It is not in any way a narrow, restricted lifestyle. The highway of holiness is if you think Commonwealth is big, Commonwealth is tiny compared to the highway of holiness. But the beautiful thing is, there's so much liberty in this highway of holiness, but there are certain people that never get up there. They never get to walk on the highway to holiness. Evil-minded people whose minds are on evil, will never walk on the highway of holiness. Only those who walk in God's ways. So it's not restrictive in any way, but only people that walk in God's ways walk on the highway of holiness. Fools will never walk there. A fool will never be able to walk on this broad path called the highway of holiness, but those who follow God's ways. But I also want you to notice, not only is the highway of holiness huge and not limiting and restricted in any way, but it's also a place of great safety. I want you to notice there's no lions, there's no ferocious beasts, there's no dangers, there's no predators, and there's no dangers in the highway of holiness. When you're walking on the highway of holiness, it's a place of safety and peace. Now, we oftentimes say that the Lord's Prayer, Lord, lead me not into temptation, but deliver me from the evil one. Lord, I want to walk on the highway of holiness, is what you're saying. The highway of holiness is a place of spiritual safety, spiritual security. There are no spiritual predators on the highway to holiness. There's no ferocious beasts on the highway to holiness. So I want you to maybe change your attitude toward the idea of a holy life. And when you pray the Lord's Prayer every morning, Lord, lead me not into temptation, but deliver me from evil. As you pray that every day and recognize I'm walking on a highway to holiness, it's not a little microscopic tightrope that you have to walk on and you're about to fall off. It's a highway of holiness. It's a place of safety. It's a place of security. And it's a place where you don't have to put up with fools and predators.